What is going on, and welcome back to another episode of I Coach Nutrition Radio. Today's episode, we're going to be diving into the topic of weekends. Now, this subject, this question came from somebody that was in the I Coach Nutrition Facebook group. They said that their number one issue with nutrition that prevents them from being able to accomplish their goals is the weekends. All right, so we're going to dive into 5 strategies that I've used myself, as well as I've helped to implement with so many clients over the years to help them improve their weekend eating. All right, so let's dive right into it. Strategy number 1, you need to aim for good enough, right, instead of perfect. With nutrition, with living a healthy lifestyle, perfection is the enemy. All right, 99% of people out there are not trying to go and stand on stage to be a bodybuilder or physique competitor. All right. And so you don't need to be perfect. So stop striving for perfect. Right. You can be perfect for a day or for a week or for a month, but you can't be perfect for the rest of your life. All right. So perfection really is the enemy. Right. And here's what happens with so many people. Right. They want to follow the perfect diet. Right. They're just like, tell me what to do. Right. And so they adhere to, these strict meal plans. They literally, weigh and measure and log everything down to the teaspoon. Right. And they do that Monday through Friday. Right. And the whole week they worry, right, about screwing things up. But by the weekend, willpower gives out. Right. They're so sick of restrictive eating and they can't wait to eat food they actually enjoy. Right. And so bring on the weekend binge. Right. And so for most of them, here's kind of the 2 options, right? It's either it's all or nothing, right? It's either perfect, right, or crap, right? And so here's kind of how the logic follows, right? This is a scenario, if you will, that I hear all the time, kind of an example scenario here, right? So it's Saturday, right? I'm out to lunch with my family and I can't have my perfect pre-portioned kale salad like I usually do. So instead, I'll just overeat a giant bacon cheeseburger and a huge heaping of fries. Right. And so if you take perfect off the table in this scenario, things change, right? You feel empowered because there are now other options. Instead of kale salad versus 5 servings of fries, I'm actually in the mood for a salad with my burger because I had fries at that work lunch on Thursday, right? And so therefore the solution is always aim for good enough rather than trying to always be perfect, right? And so throughout the work week and the weekend, right, you can start to consider your health and fitness goals, right? What are you in the mood for? What was available, right? And you can start to come up with your own definition of good enough, right? And once you do that, then you can aim for that. This is kind of this 80-20 lifestyle that you hear me speak on, right? And so I want you to hear this, right? That the decent method, right? The decent method you follow is better than the perfect one you quit. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. The decent method you follow is better than the perfect one you quit. Okay. All right, so that's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2, you need to let go of your food rules. Whatever the food rules that you've put on yourself, that you've heard through diet culture or working with coaches or following different diets or programs or whatever, you need to let go of those rules. All right. So here's an example of what I mean by that, right? Food rules tell you what you can and can't eat. They tell you when you can and can't eat. They tell you how you can and can't eat, and or they tell you how much you can and can't have, right? So these rules take up an awful lot of mental real estate. They also set you up for disinhibition, AKA screw it, right? All or nothing, right? The screw it effect, if you will, right? And this is how kind of that screw it effect works, right? So let's say your number 1 food rule is don't eat carbs, right? No croutons on the salad, won't touch a sandwich, no potatoes with your omelet, etc., right? But this Friday night, you find yourself out with friends, everyone's having beer and pizza, you hold out for a bit, but finally, you give in, you grab a slice, right? So that means, screw it, you've blown your diet. So you might as well keep eating, right? Cue the binge and uncomfortable after effects that come from that, right? And so if you have one food rule, you probably have several food rules, right? And that means that there are lots of ways to mess up and disinhibit, right? Maybe it's all night, maybe it's all weekend, right? And so eating by the rules almost always leads you to overeating crap, because once you deviate, there's nothing left to guide you, right? It's this all or nothing mindset. So ditch the rules, let your hunger be the guide. All right. Non-dieters, right? Or, what we would say normal eaters, they eat when they are physically hungry and they stop when they are physically full, no matter if it's Wednesday or Saturday, morning or evening, work lunch, happy hour, etc. Right. And so start by paying attention to your own food rules and responses, right? When, where, and how are you likely to say, screw it, right? What might happen if you let go of that rule and really tune into your physical hunger and fullness cues instead? All right, so that's strategy number 2. Strategy number 3, give up the cheat days, okay? Saying that you need a cheat meal or a cheat day or a cheat weekend is one of the worst things that you can possibly do. Okay. So Monday through Saturday is all about being faithful to your diet, right? But Sunday, that's cheat day, right? Cheat day, the happiest day of your week, right? You wake up on cheat day morning like a kid at Christmas, right? Go hog wild all day, eating all the stuff you didn't permit yourself during the week, right? And as evening nears, you start to freak out, right? So you eat and maybe drink and even more, because tomorrow it's back to reality, right? Back to fidelity and compliance and no fun. Some people, they find the idea of a weekly cheat day useful, both mentally and physically. And if this is you and it works for you, then by all means continue. All right. But for most people I've coached, having one cheat day means the rest of the week is food purgatory. Right. And so my solution for you, right, is to quit the cheat day routine. Right. Even though The Rock hypes it up, it is not a healthy strategy for most people. Right? It's not a strategy that's going to lead for success for most people, right? Give yourself permission to choose what you want all week long, right? Because like the screw it effect, cheat day depends on scarcity. Scarcity makes us feel anxious, needy, greedy, right? The counter to a scarcity mindset is an abundancy mindset. And so for you and most people around you, food is abundant. It's not something to be hoarded or feared, right? And if that's true in your life, you should be grateful, because it's a privilege. Not everybody has that. So you don't need to cheat, because there's nothing and there's no one to cheat on. Maybe you enjoy some dessert on a Tuesday night because you're in the mood for it, or maybe you don't because you're satisfied from dinner. What and when you eat is up to you. And your hunger and fullness cues, no matter what day of the week is up to you. Strategy number 3. All right, strategy number 4. I owned my choices, right? Successful clients own their choices. They really own their choices, right? So do you ever barter with yourself, right? Make deals, trades, or swaps related to food, right? Here's an example. Okay, self, I'll turn down dessert today, but I'm going to collect on the weekend, and you better pony up on the whole damn pie, right? So in this mindset, one good deed gives you license to sin elsewhere. These trades rarely pay off though, right? They usually just amount to a lot of mental gymnastics that help you avoid making tough decisions and help you justify overeating. Look, we are all adults here, right? So trading off good and bad is for little kids and convicts. There is no good and bad. There's no prison warden holding the keys, right? So mind games like this undermine your health goals and your authority over your decisions. So your solution, right? My solution and the solution here that I'm recommending for you is to start owning your choices. right? And letting your adult values and deeper principles guide you when you sit down to eat, right? So start making food decisions by acknowledging the outcome you would expect based on your experience. For example, right, if I'm choosing to eat this tub of ice cream on a Saturday night, I'll probably feel nauseated and anxious afterwards. In this instant, I'm fine with it. In the end, you need to own your choices, right? Don't moralize them, right? You are free to eat and drink anything you want. You choose your behavior. Just remember that different choices produce different outcomes. It's your call. All right, so that was strategy number 4. Last one here, strategy number 5. Stop rationalizing. Weekends present all sorts of comfortable justifications for eating a bunch of non-nutritious foods, right? It can be anything, right? You were busy, or maybe you had nothing going on. You were traveling, or maybe you were at home. You had to work, or you had no work to do. You had family/social meals, or maybe you ate alone, right? Any excuse will do. And so powerless victim of circumstance, right? But busyness, boredom, travel, work, family dinners, they don't inherently cause overeating. People eat or drink too much in lots of different situations, and their explanation simply matches whatever happens to be going on at that time. And so rationalizations are a convenient script, right? They help us make sense of and perpetuate our overeating or other unhelpful behaviors. So the solution here is stop rationalizing and actually ask yourself why you overate, right? Sometimes you want to eat crap and too much of it. That's normal. Like you, me, and everyone else. You're a human being. Congratulations. You've been dealt the card, right? But instead of falling back on the tired victim of circumstance narrative, take the opportunity to ask yourself what's really going on, right? Are you bored? Are you stressed? Are you sad? Are you happy? Right? Do this over and over and over and over, and you will start to see some patterns. That's your pot of gold, right? That's your opportunity to change overeating behavior and do something else to address those emotions instead of binging. Okay? So take these strategies, right? Reflect on them, implement them, right? Let me know what works, what doesn't work. And again, this isn't something that you just do over the course of one weekend, even though we are coming into the weekends. This is a great opportunity for you to try it. I promise you, though, that the weekends are probably the #1 struggle for 99% of people. Okay? So get out of reactive mode with the weekends. Get into a more proactive approach. Remember that our bodies do not recognize whether it's Monday or Tuesday or Saturday or Sunday. Okay? But what you do in your head, right? That's where you can start to tell yourself the stories that you want to believe. Oh, it's been a long week. I deserve this. Oh, I'm so stressed. I deserve this. Oh, I'm out with friends, family, celebrating. What? Like at the end of the day, you are a product of what you do the majority of the time, right? Every decision that you make is either bringing you closer to your goals or pushing you farther away. All right. And ultimately, reflect back on the 5 strategies here that I mentioned today. And these truly can be some strategies that you can help yourself with. You can implement into your life, and they can help you to be more successful so that you're not sabotaging yourself on the weekends. So to the individual that asked this question or asked for help with this in the iCoach Nutrition Facebook group, thank you. As always, I always appreciate the questions. Keep them coming, right? This is what fuels the podcast. And as always, until next time, thanks, guys. Bye.